Hey folks, welcome back to Indaba Africa. This is Chris. Well, it's kind of difficult to be lighthearted about this segment, but wow, this news story just is not going to die. Despite a year of cover-up and an effort to make it go away, it's now exploded. Why it explode? Because the corrupt officials involved thought they were having a private conversation with Democratic lawmakers. But clearly, someone amongst that group of Democratic lawmakers is a good, decent human being and cannot stand any longer for the fascist, dictatorial, totalitarian regime of third-term Governor Andrew Cuomo. The Grim Reaper from Albany, ladies and gentlemen. What am I talking about? Well, last year, on the 25th of March, Andrew Cuomo issued an executive directive forcing nursing homes in New York State to take in COVID positive and recovering COVID patients. Somewhere between 6,300 and 9,000, depending on the various news reports out there now, COVID positive patients were sent to nursing homes. At the time, the media couldn't be bothered with this. The one exception was Mark Levin. Mark Levin had a caller on his program the next day, the 26th of March, from New York, a woman who was a director of a nursing home. She called in, a clinician, to tell Mark Levin about this disastrous decision. And right there on the spot on the 26th of March in 2020, Mark Levin asked the obvious questions. What the hell? Who thinks this is a good idea? That can't be a good idea. Why would you put COVID positive patients in amongst the most vulnerable in society? Well, we now know that this was eventually blown up and exposed in May by other news sources, and it got some mainstream attention, but it was quickly buried. And what has Cuomo done for the past year? Andrew Cuomo, the fascist dictator of the state of New York, what has he done for the past year? Issued dictates as if he was El Duce Mussolini himself, telling the people in the state how to live, what to do, and at the same time deflecting, covering up his incompetence, his unscientific idiocy, and his failures, his pervasive failures, blaming Donald Trump for the situation in New York when it was entirely a result of malfeasance, malgovernance, and stupidity. While claiming to follow his scientific advisors and putting on a daily teleconference to put on his show for his award-winning performance, which eventually resulted in an Emmy. Can you believe that? He got an Emmy Award for his fiction as he told lies and got grandma and grandpa killed. Wow. This, according to a recent investigative report from Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York. This leftist Attorney General actually had the temerity to do her job, so bravo to her. Maybe there's a wider political ambition here, who knows, but I will just leave it at that. Bravo to Letitia James for the investigation, which remains incomplete. She's completed an initial investigation. In the initial investigation, the authorities in New York discovered that the state of New York wildly underreported fatalities in nursing homes. Why? Because they were afraid of the truth getting out. Why? Because in August of 2020, the Department of Justice under Donald Trump opened an investigation into governors of 4 states and their actions, which led to a huge spike in fatalities. That included, of course, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, and California, I believe is the other one. 4 states. The Department of Justice began an investigation into what was happening in nursing homes and why they were sending COVID-positive patients to nursing homes. Well, those 6,300 to 9,000 patients that went into those nursing homes, now bear in mind that there are just 90,000 residents in nursing homes throughout the state of New York. They sent approximately 10% of the population COVID positive. Now, they being Albany, Governor Cuomo's state reported his government that 8,700 nursing home patients had died since last year from COVID-19. Letitia James' investigation going through just 62 of New York's 600 plus nursing homes revealed that a total of 8,700 is pure fiction. Most of the nursing homes that they reviewed had as many as 50% more fatalities than reported by Cuomo and his cover-up staff. Now, we've known about this for some time, and it's been floating around, and people have been angry about it, but now we've discovered that, in fact, they intentionally and willfully covered up the data so that the Department of Justice wouldn't pursue their corrupt criminal activities. How do we know this? Melissa DeRosa, the secretary to the governor, said as much in what she thought was a private teleconference with Democratic lawmakers in which she didn't apologize for getting your grandparents, your great-grandparents killed through their malfeasance. No, that wasn't what the apology was for. She apologized because the state executive office did not tell the state legislatures. They lied to Democratic legislatures about the number of people dying. These, of course, would be the constituents of these Democratic lawmakers. Appalled by this, at least one of them was clever enough to record what was being said on audio, so we have the evidence now of her admitting the fraud. Well, it's on like junior rodeo, folks, in New York, and Andrew Cuomo cannot find a hole deep enough to hide in. And his sycophantic lapdog brother, Chris Cuomo, from cable news, the super spread himself, who spread COVID around like he was having sex in a nightclub. Very quiet. Where they at? Well, meantime, folks, let's talk about this. This is breaking out everywhere. Even the New York Slimes and Washington Compost are covering this story. Their lovely leftist icon, Andrew Cuomo, even they realize the Titanic is going under the waves. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This from CNN. The title of that's New York Times. This from CNN. The story keeps getting worse for Andrew Cuomo on COVID-19. Wow, this from yesterday. Amid the swirling controversy over whether New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration knowingly undercounted deaths among nursing home residents during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in the state, a top aide for the governor apologized to Democratic lawmakers, saying the administration froze when initially asked by state legislators back in August about the issue, which is a stunning admission and seems to jibe with a report released last month by New York Attorney General Letitia James and suggests that Cuomo's administration undercounted deaths in nursing homes by as much as 50%. Wow. The aide, Melissa DeRosa, sought to clarify remarks. I was explaining that when we received the Department of Justice inquiry, we needed to temporarily set aside the legislature's request to deal with the federal request first, she said in a statement. We informed the houses of this at the time. We were comprehensive and transparent in our response to the Department of Justice, and they had to immediately focus on resources on the second wave and vaccine rollout. As I said on a call with legislators, we could not fulfill their requests as quickly as anyone would like. No. Nice try. Not going to make it. New allegations of cover-up by Cuomo over nursing home virus toll. This from the New York Times. In a private conversation, the governor's top aide admitted that data was withheld on nursing homes where more than 10,000 New Yorkers now. They underplay it. It's easily 13, possibly 15,000 or more people died in nursing homes as a consequence of this disastrous, unscientific, moronic, witchcraft frickin' concept of sending COVID-positive patients into nursing facilities, they're closed facilities, where people can't even visit the elderly. Many people lost family members. They never saw them in the last days, months, year of their life because of his rule, because of his fascist totalitarian rule. And they didn't even get to attend the funeral. This is beyond disgraceful. Even the New York Times is covering this. Governor Andrew Cuomo and his administration faced new allegations on Friday that they covered up the scope of the coronavirus death toll in New York's nursing homes after a top aide admitted the state had withheld data because it feared an investigation by the Trump Justice Department. Wow. The remarks by top aide Melissa DeRosa were made in what was supposed to be a private conference call with Democratic lawmakers. Came as a cascading series of news reports and a court order have left Cuomo, a third-term Democrat, scrambling to contain the political fallout over his oversight of nursing homes where more than 13,000 people have died in the pandemic. Now, once again, I'm not certain that figure is correct, 13,000. Letitia James' data only covered 62 nursing homes. That's 1/10 of the nursing homes in New York. So the figure might be 13,000, it might be 11,000, it might be 20,000. We don't know. It's probably on the order of about 15,000 based on that small sample. This is disgraceful. This is negligence. There are lawmakers across the state of New York calling for the impeachment and or resignation of Cuomo forthwith. And they're right. This clown denigrated the President of the United States, lied about COVID in New York, and played leftist propaganda machine for the Democratic fraud campaign that contributed in no small way to Donald Trump not being the president at this stage. Not only did Andrew Cuomo defraud the citizens of New York, the residents in New York, as well as those in nursing homes, he also defrauded the American people by being point man for the COVID-19 scam, the political scam. Not the pandemic, it's a real pandemic, but the political scam, and using the scam to unseat politicians. Wow. How's that Emmy looking now, Andrew? Ooh. I'll bet it's very warm in Albany right now. Shame. Well, folks, this story is not going away, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. They're not shadow banning people on this one because even the fake stream, lame stream media on the left are reporting this story, and they're reporting it eagerly, like lions salivating at a carcass or vultures swooping from above. Hang in there, folks. Much more to follow.